We're going to see why we need that placeholder once we get into the throes of this problem. So first, who goes in the dividing house? The first one, which is the top one as we're reading it. So the x plus 4 is going to be our divisor. And this is going to go in the dividing house, and make sure you put the placeholder with it. So 0x squared.
Why is the x the only one that's 0? Why is there 0x squared?
Because that is the only power that we don't have. I promise we're going to see why we need it.
I didn't hear you say that.
That's weird.
So we're going to see what happens if we don't put that 0 in, and it'll show you why we need to have that 0 there. So our leader term is the x, and our tag-along term is the 4. So I'm going to cover up the 4. I'm going to cover up all this stuff. And the question I want to ask myself, and careful here because we do have a coefficient, is x times what gives me 2x cubed? If it helps you, folks, you can put a 1 here. And I can take it piece by piece and say 1 times what is 2? 2. And x times what is x cubed? X squared.
Crazy.
So the leader decides who goes on the dividing house. And then we multiply it times the leader times the tag-along term. So 2x cubed plus 8x squared. And close in parentheses and subtract. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. What's 0x squared minus 8x squared? Negative 8x squared. Now, hey, if we didn't have that placeholder there, what would this problem have looked like? So let's say I didn't have this there, and we had 6x there. Can I take 6x minus 8x squared? No. So we need to have this 0x squared there so that all of my units stack up nicely so I can actually carry out the subtraction. So you would just be stuck with the 6x and the 8x squared, which would just bring you down to this very next line. So we have the placeholders there so that everything stays stacked nicely and so we can actually carry out the subtraction. Good answer. All right, folks. Next iteration. Cover up the tag-along term. Cover up the 6x. And I want you to decide what goes on the dividing house. Go.
What?
Wait for like 8x squared.
Negative 8x squared. Negative 8x.
Negative 8x. So 1 times negative 8 will give me the negative 8. And x times x will give me x squared. So I don't worry about the 4 and I don't worry about the 6x. But once I choose what goes on the dividing house, we distribute. And we enclose in parentheses and subtract. So negative 8x squared minus a negative 8x squared is what? 0. 6x minus a negative, so plus 32x is 38x.
We're so crazy.
Bring on down the 152. And I want you to try the next iteration on your own. What goes on the dividing house? What do we multiply it by? How do we carry out the subtraction? 1 minute, go.
What's 4 times 38?
Big number.
A big number.
120. No.
Wait. How can you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. 120 plus 32. 152. Is that it? 38 times 4. It can be done. I was right. 152.
Thanks. That's cool.
Dumb.
Wait, it's 150. It's like right around. That's cool. Whoa.
So x times what gives me 38x? 38 times the leader term, 38x, times the tag-along term, plus 152. enclose in parentheses, and subtract. And our remainder is 0. Now, I like to put a happy face in my 0, not just because it vibes, but because we should be happy when we get a remainder of 0. Because what does getting a remainder of 0 mean? Going back to that example we did here, if I get a remainder of 0, what can we say about 4 and 5 relative to 20? They are factors. Thank you. They are factors of 20. So I want you to first write the answer, which is just 2x squared minus 8x plus 38. And again, we're not going to factor this. We could take a GCF of 2 out. But what I want you to note is that x plus 4 is a factor of the dividend, and so is the quotient. So when your remainder is 0, you have found 2 factors. Why do we care about finding factors? Why did we care about it last term? What do factors lead me to? What did we use factoring to find with quadratics? What did we use factoring to find?
Oh my god.
The zeros, the x-intercepts, the roots. So this is not something you have to write on your homework, but why are we trying to divide? Because we want to factor, because we want to find x-intercepts. Deep breath. We are now going to go into the guided practice.
Yay.